The day my brother handed me that envelope, he smiled like he had already won. And I didn't understand why until it was too late. Have you ever had someone look at you like you were a problem that needed fixing? That was Daniel, my older brother, 38, successful, respected, and always quietly ashamed of me. I'm Amara, 32, a single mom, and that night, my birthday was supposed to be simple. Just dinner, family, my son Ethan laughing in the background, completely unaware of the tension sitting at the table. Everything felt normal until Daniel stood up. He didn't say happy birthday. He didn't smile like everyone else. Instead, he pulled out a sealed envelope and slid it across the table toward me. Then he laughed. Not a warm laugh, not even a nervous one, a cold, deliberate laugh. Maybe this will fix the mistake you brought into this family. Silence. You could feel it. Heavy, suffocating. My mother looked down. No one said a word. And in that moment, I realized something wasn't right. This wasn't just another one of Daniel's judgmental comments. This felt planned. I didn't open it there. I couldn't. My hands were already shaking, and I refused to give him the satisfaction. But the way he looked at me, like he knew something I didn't. Like he had already decided how my life was going to change. That night, after everyone left, I sat alone in my room with that envelope in my hands. And I hesitated, because deep down, I knew once I opened it, nothing would be the same again. But I opened it anyway. And the first line I read made my stomach drop. Petition regarding paternity and custody review. My brother didn't just insult me, he was trying to take my son. Tell me, what would you do if the person you trusted growing up suddenly became the one trying to destroy your life? I read the document again and again, hoping I misunderstood, but I didn't. It was official, legal language, cold, precise. Daniel had filed a petition questioning Ethan's paternity and somehow tied it to my fitness as a mother. My chest tightened. How does someone even do that? How does a brother wake up one day and decide, I'm going to challenge my sister's right to raise her own child? The document mentioned supporting evidence submitted confidentially. That part scared me the most, because it meant this wasn't random. Someone gave him something. And suddenly, my mind started racing. Marcus, Ethan's father. The man who disappeared before Ethan was even born. No calls, no explanations, just gone. Daniel always hated him, said he was irresponsible, said I was naive for trusting him. But this felt bigger than old resentment. This felt calculated. I tried calling Daniel that night, no answer. Again the next morning, straight to voicemail. Then I called my mom. She picked up, but the moment I mentioned the envelope, she went quiet. Too quiet. Mom, did you know about this? A pause. Then she said something that didn't make sense at the time. Amara, maybe it's better if you just let this go. Let what go? My son? That's when the fear really hit me. This wasn't just Daniel. Something was being hidden from me. And 2 days later, when a lawyer called and said, if this evidence holds up, you could lose everything, I realized this was already bigger than I thought. The deeper I looked into it, the more it felt like this wasn't just a case, it was a setup. Have you ever pulled on a thread and suddenly everything starts unraveling? That's exactly what happened. I hired a lawyer. I had no choice. And the first thing she told me was chilling. Amara, your brother didn't just file paperwork. He came prepared. Prepared? With what? Turns out, Daniel had already requested a court-ordered DNA test. He wasn't guessing. He was building something, piece by piece. And then came the part that didn't sit right. The timeline. My lawyer showed me dates, communications, filings, even private inquiries. This didn't start recently. This started years ago. Years. So I went back home. I needed answers. Real ones. And this time, I didn't ask gently. "Mom, what aren't you telling me?" She tried to deflect, tried to avoid it, but something in my face must have told her I wasn't backing down anymore, because finally, she broke. And what she said next, it didn't just shock me, it rewrote everything I thought I knew. "Daniel contacted Marcus before Ethan was born," she whispered. Daniel paid Marcus? To leave? To disappear? My heart dropped. No, that didn't make sense. Marcus didn't abandon me? He was pushed out. Suddenly, every unanswered call, every night I cried wondering why he left, it all came crashing down at once. Daniel didn't just judge my life. He interfered with it, controlled it. And now, he was using that same absence, the one he created, as evidence against me. But here's where everything shifted. I found Marcus. After all these years, I found him. And when I told him everything, he didn't hesitate. "I'll take the test," he said. Finally, the truth was coming. But before the results could even come in, the court called Daniel in. And something about the case suddenly changed. The courtroom was silent, and for the first time in his life, my brother looked afraid. Have you ever seen someone who always had control suddenly lose it? That was Daniel. I walked into that courtroom with my lawyer on one side and Marcus on the other. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. But Daniel? He wouldn't even look at me. Not once. The same man who laughed while handing me that envelope now sat there stiff, avoiding eye contact like I didn't exist. That's when I knew. Something had shifted. The judge began speaking, calm, measured, but every word felt heavier than the last. "New evidence has been submitted to the court." New evidence? I glanced at my lawyer. She gave me a small nod, like she already knew what was coming. Then the judge continued. "Financial records, verified transactions, and supporting statements." My stomach dropped. This wasn't just about Ethan anymore. This was about Daniel, about what he did. The room felt tighter, colder, and then the judge looked directly at him and asked, "Would you like to explain why you paid the alleged father to disappear and then used that absence as legal leverage?" That's when Daniel finally looked up. And for the first time, he had no answer. The truth didn't just come out, it collapsed everything he built. Have you ever waited for a moment so long that when it finally happens, you don't even feel anger anymore, just clarity? That was me, sitting there in that courtroom, because finally, everything made sense. The DNA results were submitted first. Marcus is Ethan's biological father. No doubt, no confusion, no loophole. Just truth. And with that, Daniel's entire argument about uncertainty collapsed instantly. But it didn't stop there. The financial records came next. Verified transactions, dates going back years, payments made directly to Marcus right before he disappeared from my life. Not rumors, not assumptions. Proof. Daniel didn't just interfere. He orchestrated it. He paid the father of my child to leave and then used that absence as legal leverage to question me as a mother. Calculated, planned, cold. The judge didn't hesitate. The petition was dismissed immediately. But more than that, Daniel was formally cited for fraud, manipulation of evidence, and abuse of legal process. His lawyer looked shaken, his confidence gone. And my mother? She cried. Not softly, not quietly, but like someone who finally realized that silence has consequences too. As for me, I didn't yell. I didn't celebrate. I just breathed. For the first time in years, I wasn't carrying questions. I wasn't doubting myself. I was right. And that peace, it hit deeper than any anger ever could. That the aftermath, that's what really changed everything. Daniel's reputation didn't survive this. Word spread. Family, colleagues, everyone. The same man who judged me was now the one people whispered about. We don't speak anymore. Not because I hate him, but because I finally understand him, and I don't need that in my life. Marcus? He didn't disappear this time. He stayed. Slowly, carefully, he started building something with Ethan. Not rushing, not forcing, just showing up. And Ethan? He's the same kid. Laughing, playing, completely unaware of how close everything came to falling apart. And maybe that's the point. Because in the end, the mistake my brother talked about